Welcome to another episode of the Capital Playbook. We are so happy to have you with us. Today we have a very special guest, Ms. Wendy Lafond. I think you're going to find her story very, very interesting, especially for individuals who are trying to find their space in commercial real estate. But before we get started with our show, please remember to subscribe, to like, and share. We really appreciate your support. And also, something we want to do different. If you have questions or if you have an idea for an episode that you'd like for us to share, then please drop that in the notes section there on YouTube. But we are, again, very pleased that you are supporting our show. And please join me in welcoming Ms. Lafond with, what's the Genie Notary, Inc., right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, so... we talked a little bit before the show about your history, your background, and kind of where you were in business before getting into real estate. Yeah. And your story is very interesting. What were you doing before you started Genie Notary, Inc.?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Okay. Personally, I was a campus officer at Curry College, right? And I was also a full-time EMT, and I literally got my master's degree in criminal justice. And, I have siblings, and they're all into first responders. They're all cops. And so I thought that I was going to be going that route. I took the test for Boston Police. I passed that. Wow. And I was on the waiting list. And for Boston Police, you have to live in Boston and able to be a Boston police officer. And so I bought a condo in Boston and also took the firefighter's exam, passed that, got called. And then I was like, no, thank you. And I just, so I was on the first responder list, and I became a notary, and I absolutely love it.
Wow.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. So now some in our audience may not be familiar with a notary and what a notary does. Yeah. So share with us, what does a notary do, and how are they critical to the real estate industry?
Well, a lot of people, so Genie Notary Inc. is a signing service, right? And so we provide clients with signing agents, right? So when you become a notary or a signing agent through the NNA, the National Notary Association, you have to make sure you are, background check. You have to go through the whole screening. You have to make sure you have your E&O policy in place. You're essentially a independent contractor, right? And so signing agents are crucial because every single loan have to get closed, right? Either by an attorney state or a signing agent in a notary state. And so if you're working in title or in settlement, you most likely have a notary that has to close that loan. And people don't really think about it like that, but every single loan has to get closed by a signing agent, right? And so they have to make sure that the person who's signing, they are who they say they are, right? They have to verify that information. They have to make sure that the documents are executed properly, right? They are not attorneys. And so you have to make sure that the document, because you are basically representing the bank, the lender's title when you go to someone's home or when you go to someone's office and say, hey, here's your documents. Please sign here, here, here. Please make sure you fill out these documents properly. And so agents are extremely crucial. Good agents are extremely crucial in the closing process.
Wow. Yeah. So it's very important. Yeah. So as a person who went from the criminal justice field, you said, let me figure out a niche in real estate. Yeah. And you decided to go the notary route. You could have become a real estate agent. You could have become a broker. Could have been on the finance side. But you found this little niche by providing a service as a notary agent. And then you went from being a notary agent to being having a notary service. Okay, and so we were talking about the difference between that being an agent and then having a service.
Yep.
So what's the difference if you were to describe that?
Yeah, so a signing agent is an individual agent. They are a notary. They are not just a notary, but they are experienced in real estate documents, right?
Okay.
And so that's one person, and they can go from county to county or from their state, right? But a notary agent is an individual. A signing service, which that we are, they are a signing service that we have over 70,000 agents in our network.
Wow.
Okay, and so we are national. And so if you call us and say, hey, we have a closing the next hour or two in Alaska, in Puerto Rico, in Texas, in Arizona, that's fine. We're there. But a signing agent is just one person.
So they can't be everywhere at one time, but your service, you have over 70,000 agents. That must have taken you a lot of years to put that together. I mean, you went from campus police to having a notary service and having 70,000 agents signing for you. Did that take you about 10 years to put that together?
No, only in America. No, so actually we are a little baby fish, We are starting out, and so Genie Notary Inc. is about a year and a half old.
A year and a half old, and 70,000 agents.
Over 70,000 agents.
Wow, and you're closing transactions all over the United States.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you and I, we had this conversation prior to the show about being smart. And, of course, you have to have basic intelligence to do anything. I've always said that if you can learn how to tie your shoes, which for a 2-year-old is the most challenging thing that a person can do, and you have to learn it, right? So, if you're able to master tying your shoes, then that's basic intelligence. And if you have basic intelligence and you add hustle to that, then you can accomplish anything. Most people get talked out of their dreams, but you didn't. When you were making this transition from campus police to notary service, 70,000 agents, were there people there to try to talk you out of your dream?
God is good. Yeah. Actually, I reached out to one of my family members, and so
those are usually the main ones that have all the negative stuff. But go ahead.
So before I was a campus officer and an EMT, I worked for the state parole board for 6 years in Massachusetts.
That's where I met you. No.
So I worked there, and I was in the union, right? They have a strong union, the parole board does. And I told one of my family members, I said, I'm going to quit my job. And she's like, why? I said, I'm not happy. I got my master's, and I only went from like a $3,000 pay increase, and I doubled my debt. I want to be happy. I don't want to be like mom. Mom worked and worked and worked, and and she passed away. And so I did not want that. And so she said, "You've got to be the stupidest person I ever met." and I was like, "What?" She was like, "Stay in that union job because that's what mom would have wanted you." And I was 4 years away from being from getting like the student loan forgiveness program to being student debt free. And I said no. I don't want to wake up and be at the parole board. Awesome place. Don't get me wrong, and be in policing or in first responder, 20 years, 30 years, and then hate my life.
Right.
I didn't want that. And I did not want to be like my mother, like how her life turned out. Right. Worked. She came to America. She worked. She had 6 children, and it was just like bills after bills after bills. And we saw her struggle. I saw her struggle a lot, and I wanted to be better. She brought us to America to be better, to know better.
Right.
And being a notary, when I was a notary, being a signing agent, I was able to make my own schedule. I was able to travel when I wanted to. There was days where I made my mortgage in one day.
Wow.
Like, people don't, and I chose the notary route because all you need is a printer, paper, ink,
Right.
and a background check and a GED. If you can just have those and just learn how to speak English,
Right.
Barely, look at me, right? But if you just have those basic things, you can be an agent, you could be an entrepreneur. All you need is a background check, a license, a GED,
Wow.
right? And paper, ink, and a printer, and you are your own boss.
Wow.
Only in America.
And that's so important because in this industry, there's so many areas that a person can serve. And I think just in our conversation, we talked about the importance of having that service attitude. You mentioned your commitment to making sure that those parties are able to close their transaction. What are some of the ways that you've demonstrated that service part of what you do to make sure that your clients are happy?
So we hate to say no to our clients, right? We are an in-person mobile closing service as well as full RON. That is remote online notarizations. So if your client is sick, God forbid they get COVID, right? If a client goes out and it's on vacation and they're ready to close, we're able to do both. If they are in France and Paris, if they are, we had a client one time. It was a husband and wife, and the wife had COVID with the kids. The husband did not, and they were literally down the street from each other, and we were able to close their refis the same day.
Wow!
Right? It's called Ron. It's the future. Everyone is going to be doing everything online.
Right.
Everything is going to be online in the future, right? Get with it now.
Wow.
Get with it now.
So remote online notary. Wow, that is definitely cool.
Yeah.
Because people are so transit these days, and you guys specialize in that and have done a lot of that.
Yep. Yes, we have.
Wow, that's great. And so now you went from starting this business a year and a half old. What are some of the things that have helped you grow? Are there any organizations that have really helped you to grow and promote your business? What are some of the things that you've done to make that happen?
Well, we've worked, and so we are an approved vendor. So number one, when I wanted to make sure that once we become, a signing service, my number one thing was to becoming a woman-owned company. Yes, I am a woman, I am a minority, but that means nothing if you're not certified, right?
You got to be certified as a woman and minority.
Just because you're a woman doesn't mean like you are under the federal government, right? Doesn't mean nothing, right? You have to go through the credentials. So I made sure I went after WeBank, that is Women Business National Enterprise National Council, WeBank, and so we got certified. So we are, don't hold me to this, but I think we're like one, if the only woman-owned small businesses notary services, right? Wow. Through WeBank, we are certified, and so I wanted to make sure like we are certified. So over 7,000 agents. Over 85% of our agents are women and minorities. Wow. And so we are committed to doing what we say we're going to do, right? And so next, we wanted to make sure we work with national title companies. We wanted to get out there, and so we are fortunate enough to become the approved vendor for DHI title. That is Dior Horton. They are home builders. So we are approved vendor for DHI title, and we are also an approved vendor for Lenore, title, as well as we are super excited to possibly be working soon with DOMA state's title, thanks to Chase, right? So our number one thing was becoming a certified woman-owned business and to work with these awesome companies,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. So, I mean, it's just phenomenal, again, but it all starts with the ability to hustle, having a vision.
Yep.
Okay, you got into real estate looking at areas where you could serve and add value, but you knew that you needed help along the way. So you got certified, and now as a result of being nationally certified, you've been able to create these key connections and so forth. But what about, it's such a vast industry here in commercial real estate, and a lot of business is what you know and who you know. What have you done to really build your network of who you know to help your business?
Awesome question. So I just wrote down LinkedIn.
Okay.
So we spend zero money on marketing.
Wow.
We are big
I need to get my marketing down to that number.
LinkedIn. So I personally do not have any I don't have any title. I don't have any marketing experience, right? But I do know the fact that you need to make sure you have mentors and you have people who are on your side, right? And so I went on LinkedIn because what platform can you you have all these people in front of you, right? And they are CEOs, they are professionals, and they are looking to work with you. They're like, hey, here's my resume. Look who I work for. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be at this conference, right? And me, I will just get up and go.
Wow.
I make a list of people that I want to work with.
Right.
I make a list of people that I want to be like, right? So I made this list one time, and it was Byron Boston of Dynex Financial.
Who happened to be a guest on our show. So go back and look at that episode. But
And Laura Brandeo, that woman is phenomenal, and she is a leader, and I'm like, oh, I want to be that rich. I want to be that person.
Right.
And I made a list, of just people that I want to be like. And so I think Elon Musk of Tesla once said, your network is your net worth.
Yep.
And so I'm like, what does that mean? Right? So if I want to be a boss, right? If I'm a CEO and I want to make all these connections, LinkedIn, I spend so many hours on LinkedIn. People are so shocked. I've made a good amount of money on LinkedIn. and I sell myself.
Right.
And I think that when people know you and they like you and probably they want to do business with you in the future,
right.
or if they have a need, they might think of you as one of these people who can help.
Right.
And so I am super vulnerable on LinkedIn, right? I tell you my story. I tell you about Genie. I tell you about Genie Notary. I tell you about where I came from. I was once homeless, right? I put it all out there,
wow.
right? And I tell you what we are trying to accomplish and what our mission is. And we're there, and I just want people to see the full view of how it is to be an entrepreneur,
right.
because people only see once you've made it.
Yeah.
And they see, oh, she's successful, she's lucky, or she's good for her, or she's a minority, or she's a woman, or she's gonna get that deal. No, there's a lot of
hustle. A lot of hustle that goes into it.
A lot of hustle.
Yeah.
Notary is one of the few things you can do to make extra cash.
Yeah.
We have people who just have GEDs. We have people who work with us that are retired, right? We have we have single moms, right? Doesn't matter what age you are, you want to work, you can make $100, $200 per closing, and literally, I made 6 figures being a notary.
Yeah,
Insane.
and I've actually have talked to people that wanted to transition into something in real estate, but they're intimidated by various aspects. I've said, look, become a notary. But they, it's so funny that, people don't believe the clear path to success. And I have my theories on that. Usually they're distracted by all the social media or entertainment that they can't think straight. And so you can put success right in front of them. They're either not going to see it, or they're going to be too afraid to reach out and grab it because to them it's too good to be true. And so as a result, they do nothing, and success just passed them by. But that was not your issue. You saw it, it made sense, and you left. You left a union, a union job, to go and chase your dream. And how did it work out for you so far?
You know what? With these national title companies we're working with, it's great. It's been slow a little bit. Going back a little bit, I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and it changed my life. I read it when I was just a notary, a signing agent, and the book says, if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right. Either way, you're right. If I say I'm going to quit my job, I can do it.
Right.
I'm just going to quit. If I say I can't quit my job, I'm right.
Right.
Either way, it's your mindset, right? And so I wake up each morning. When I quit my job, I didn't even think about it, because if I thought about it, I wouldn't do it. Right. Because
all the things, that seem practical, it's like, oh man, these jobs are hard to get. I'm in the union, I have tenure, blah, blah, blah. But you're miserable and you don't have no money. You're the working poor. And a lot of people don't understand that there are poor people that don't have a job, and there are poor people that have a job. It's the same result, right?
Yeah.
The poor is poor,
yeah.
And so, but you figured that out. You made up in your mind, and you made the determination you're going to transition.
I'm sick of being poor. Let somebody else be poor. like let somebody else be poor for once.
Right.
Not Wendy Lafond.
Right.
I'm all set with that.
Right.
I just, I don't know. Like, I feel like people always say, I want to quit my job, or I want to leave my husband, or I want to leave my wife, or people always have these issues, and they always say, but I can't, right? It's like, what do you mean you can't? Yes, you can.
Right.
Like, yes, you can. If you say you can do something, you're going to do it.
Right.
For example, I just got on a plane 2 days ago. I'm going to be here.
Right.
And ding, like Genie, we're here, right? Whatever you say you're going to do, you can do it. Right? I say I'm going to own a company, and I do. I'm going to hire people who look like me, who sound like me. I'm going to hire women, disabled veterans. I'm going to hire people because I know it's not easy, right? I know it's not easy, but I came from Haiti, Haiti. Right? I didn't even have a green card.
You got one now, though, right?
Okay. We're paying our taxes.
We don't want to create no problems for you.
No, proud American citizen.
Okay.
But I see where I've come from.
Right.
And me and Byron Boston, a little story. I went to the MBA National in October, and I said, hey, Byron, can you sit next to me? I'm having this huge meeting with this huge executive at a very large bank. And we're on the beach, we're sitting there, and I told the guy.
This was in San Diego?
Yep, at the MBA National.
How was it?
MBA National.
Okay, I met Byron in Florida, but I was there at the MBA.
Yeah. So it was in San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
So I sat there, and I was kind of like nervous, and so the guy said to me, what do you want, Wendy? And Byron always told me, ask for the business. If you want someone's business, ask for it. Okay? So I said, well, I want Genie Notary Inc. to be the preferred signing service of all of U.S. banks. And that man looked at me like I had a nipple on my forehead. and he just looked at me.
Right.
And I mean it, right? And so, and he smiled. He said, okay, right? We haven't done business yet, right? But I was in Haiti, right? The father died. I was 1 and came to America and grew up in Newark, you know, in Irvington, New Jersey. And I think about where I came from to where I am now. And I said, oh my God, if I say something, it's going to happen. Dreams come true.
Right.
And so why not? Why not be a loan signing service for all of U.S. banks, right?
Yeah, right.
Why not? If you say it, it will happen.
Right.
It will happen.
Yep.
If you say, I hate my job and I'm going to leave, it's going to happen. If you say, I'm going to be a notary, I'm going to work whenever I want. I absolutely love what I do.
Right.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like, hustle. I'm like, oh, on LinkedIn, like, let's go after this person, you
Right.
know? It's amazing, your mindset. And if you say you're going to do something, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell your next career or your next job or business is probably going to be motivational speaker.
Oh, okay.
Because you're certainly motivating me. You know, it is so exciting to see someone transition into this industry, because we talk about it all the time. And really, the purpose of this show is to let people see the full spectrum of commercial real estate, to show how they can really change their lives, but how they can also add value to the industry, because you have to have that servant mentality if you're really going to be successful. One of the things I really appreciate that you shared with me is what you're willing to do to make sure that your clients' deals get closed, because they're depending on you. In order to get that transaction closed, the lenders, the borrowers, the sellers, the buyers, they're all depending on you. And unless you provide that critical part, the deal's just not going to happen.
Yep.
And so, and that's your approach to the industry, and I believe that's what's making you successful. So, if you were to give your clients 3 words of advice when preparing or what to look for in terms of engaging a notary service, what would you say to them? What would those 3 things be?
Well, I would say communication.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of signing services out there, right? We're not special, but we are women and minority.
Okay.
And we only require 1 hour notice, right? Like 1 hour notice. If someone cancels, your attorney does not show up, or your notary, or they got COVID, right? Because things happen. They got a flat tire. It's okay, guys. Relax. Just call us. and so communication. We make sure when every single closing to us matters. Every single one. Doesn't matter if the client is giving us 1,000 closings a month or a handful a month. We will make sure we close your loan.
Wow.
We make sure. We will answer that phone call for you. You text me, you text us, we will message you. If you email us, we'll respond back to your emails. If you call us, if we don't answer, we will say, hey, busy, what's going on, right? Communication. A lot of times when you don't communicate, that's when things go wrong. Right. So you need to make sure you have a signing agent that is that's communicating.
Yeah.
And also, nights, weekends, holiday, they're there. Right? We are there.
Wow.
Rain, hail, snow, nights, weekends, holidays. Yes, people, that includes Sundays. We're there, right? 24 hours. Also, I would say reliability, right? If you have a lot of times, so we got this huge title client recently because they had a signing service and they needed to close that loan. And it was, I believe, on a Saturday. And so the notary canceled last minute because she had COVID.
Wow.
And so the loan officer was not answering the phone call. And so because, hey, Monday to Friday, right? And so the notary canceled, the loan officer was not answering the phone call, and the signer was calling the notary service, no one's answering. So the closing never happened.
Wow.
Monday morning, hey guys, where's the scan backs? Nobody signed. The guy lost his rate.
Wow.
He lost his rate.
Cost him money. Wow.
And so title was so the lender was pissed, right? Because nobody answered. We will answer, guys. You should have called us. So I think reliability, right? When we mean nationwide, we mean nationwide. When we mean we'll be in Alaska, the U.S. Virgin Islands, we're there, right? When we mean nights, weekends, holidays, that includes Saturdays, Sundays, right? It doesn't matter. President's Day, we're there. So communication, reliability, and professionalism, right? So this happens. You'll have notaries you'll have signing agents who they'll go somewhere, right? They'll go to a closing wearing sandals. And like, mind you, they wear shorts, right? Mind you, this client just closed on like $800,000 property or $1 million property, and then they come and they have their dogs with them. This legit happens. They have their dogs with them, or their phone's ringing, they answer the phone, or 1 second, or I'll get back to you. Professionalism and being consistent, right? When we have clients, we make sure we either text or call every single agent and say, hey, you have this client with us, you have this closing with us, make sure you confirm. Okay, when you get assigned, make sure you dress professionally because you are representing Genie Notary Inc., not just Joe Schmo. Right. Okay, that's one. 2, make sure you arrive on time. On time. If things happen, traffic happens, we understand, but communicate. Tell us. Call for God's sake. Call the signer and say, hey, I am 5 minutes away, okay? Because they will call the lender and say, hey, what's happening here? Bad luck, right? Be professional, be on time, communicate, right? And if something does not go right or you miss a signature, for example, we're human, things happen. Be open to fixing it with no charge. Right? If it's my mistake, I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to say, how can we fix it? And as soon as possible. Right? So communicating, right? You need signing services because there's some that's so large, they're so big, you're just like another number, right? We communicate with our clients. We are reliable and we are professional. Wow. And so CRP. CRP. So and they're not major things, but it's the simple thing that makes a big difference. It's the simple things that people don't think about.
Well, it's having this service mindset, and that's really the key. When you are focused on serving your client or serving the industry, success comes. And of course, you also have that hustle mentality. Like I say all the time. You got to have basic intelligence, but hustle trumps smart all the time. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to meet you, and I'm so excited about your success.
Thank you.
And I would love to have you come back and talk about some more of your success stories as your company continues to grow and you continue to make a big impact in commercial real estate.
I appreciate it. And guys, check us out on www.genienotary.com or, email us. Call us 508-810-2269 or email us at scheduling@genienotary.com.
Now I see why your marketing budget is zero.
Zero.
Again, thank you for being a part of our show, and thank you. And if you like this episode, please comment below and tell us what you like. We'd love to have more guests. If you're interested in other parts of the real estate industry and you'd like for us to bring those guests on, let us know. We want to serve you. We want to help you learn about the commercial industry or the real estate industry as a whole, commercial or residential, and give you the information that you need to truly be successful. But until next time, thank you for being with us. Don't forget, subscribe, like, and share.